everybody? Welcome to the Real for Real podcast. I am Isaiah, and this is Kevin. We are your host, and man, we got a movie for you today. Just came out, new release. We are going to be talking about The Wrath of Man, new Guy Ritchie film that was directed by Guy Ritchie, starring Jason Statham, Josh Hartnett, Andy Garcia, Jeffrey Donovan, and Scott Eastwood, to name a few. It was produced by Guy Ritchie, Ivan Atkinson, and Bill Block. As well as the screenplay was written by Guy Ritchie, Ivan Atkinson, and Martin Davies. Distributed by United Artists here in the United States. Cinematographer was Alan Stewart. The music was by Christopher Benstead, and production company that put it out was MGM and Miramax. So, guys, for those of you who are new to our podcast and don't know how we do this, we are going to start by talking about the things that we loved about a movie. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the things that we don't like about it. And then we may even share a couple of favorite scenes, and then we'll close out with our real recap, talking about how we feel, giving it an overall rating, and whether we think you should go check it out. So, Kevin, let's get into it a little bit. Tell me what you think.
Man, so first, I just want to say I am a big Guy Ritchie fan. I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of Jason Statham. And man, I really enjoyed this movie, man. If I want to be honest with you, I think that this is my favorite Jason Statham movie. Now,
that's fair. It's up there for me.
Yeah, man. It's just to me, it's just it's a lot different. This is a very different Guy Ritchie film, man. It's not really, it's not your typical crime drama with comedy that he usually does. And I like what he did. And Jason Statham, like, you know how he's usually like the rock'em sock'em, shoot 'em up type dude. And this movie just had a lot more elements to it, and I really enjoyed it. So I liked it, man. And for Guy Ritchie, you're a pretty decent Guy Ritchie fan too, right? You like him,
Well, the first one I saw of his was, I think, Snatch back in the day.
Yes, sir.
And that was legit.
Yeah.
I've been a pretty good fan of his films. I know I really liked the recent release he put out not so long ago. The Gentleman was really good.
The Gentleman, yeah.
I was definitely feeling that. So that's what made me kind of gravitate towards seeing this movie in the first place, was just seeing The Gentleman and really liking it. And so I figured this would be in the same style. But no, I'm kind of with you about Statham movies. I mean, a lot of times, not to say that he does these poorly, but his movies can be kind of the same. In fact, I was chatting with somebody a little earlier about it, and they were telling me, especially with this being a revenge flick, they were like, man, you might as well put him and Liam Neeson against each other, given the same, like they got a lot of the same movies. They might as well just put out a movie with both of them in it and see who gets revenge the best.
You got a point though. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
But despite his catalog being kind of similar, I think I definitely would say that this is probably, it's up there. It's easily could easily be one of his best films for Statham.
Definitely, man. And let's talk about Guy Ritchie and Jason Statham for a minute, their relationship. So this is their fourth film together. So the first one they did was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which is a great cult classic film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. Snatch, like you mentioned earlier, that's the movie that really put Guy Ritchie on the map, on the international level, and was a really good film. I actually think that's his best film still. But Snatch, and then the third one they did was Revolver. They did that in 2005. It was an okay movie. It's another heist movie. It's got Andre 3000. It was decent. And then this is their fourth film, so Wrath of Man. So it's interesting because Guy Ritchie, my favorite movie from him is Snatch, but Jason Statham, this is my favorite movie from him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting how that works.
Had to reorder him a little bit for him.
Yeah, man. But it was cool to see Josh Hartnett in this movie too. I hadn't seen that dude in a long time.
I'm glad you said that. Like, cause I won't lie. This wasn't one of my necessarily positive points that I talked about, but I gotta throw some nods to him. Cause Josh, I won't lie. In the 90s, I was like, I don't see what everybody goes crazy about this dude. I thought
40 days, 40 nights. Yeah.
I never thought of dude as like that great an actor.
Wasn't he in Black Hawk Down? No, he did pretty bad.
I believe.
I know you don't like war movies like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big war movie. I have seen Black Hawk Down. That's one of the ones I have seen. But I will say that, like, seeing him in this movie, I was like, at first, just when he first showed up, I'm like, what? They put this dude. But no, like I all of a sudden had to go back and like talking to like old, the past version of myself, thinking,
Mhm.
yo, why did I hate this dude so much? Like, because I mean, he
Yeah,
does really, really well in the film. In
yeah.
fact, along with that, another like kind of an actor that kind of flies under the radar is Jeffrey Donovan. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
does like
Sure.
he's one of the people that knows the assignment and always executes well. I just
Yeah.
don't think that he often comes to people's, memory when you talk about like top actors or people who are doing really well in the, in
Mhm.
the industry.
Mhm.
And then I got to throw, and I know me and you kind of chatted about this earlier, Scott Eastwood is in the film. And
Oh man, yes sir, yes sir. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Scott Eastwood. You know, it's interesting. Scott Eastwood was kind of giving me Clint Eastwood vibes. I'm talking about like the spaghetti western vibes, man. When we're talking about fistful of dollar, Clint Eastwood,
okay.
because he was cold blooded, man. Like if you go back, you look at Clint Eastwood, like back in his fistful of dollar days, man, he was like cold blooded, like cold blooded killer. And so you
Oh
look at
yeah.
like he was kind of resembling his father, which was pretty cool. Like, and this is like really the first time I really paid attention to Scott, honestly. Like
Yeah,
this
I'm glad.
film
I'm
made
glad
me
you said
like,
that.
yeah, like I was like, dang, he killed this role. Like him as Jan he was cold-blooded for real.
Yeah, like
He turned it up.
I'm super glad you said that because I won't lie. I don't think I don't think I paid much attention to him in any other film up to this
No.
point. Like I know he
No.
was there in other
Yeah,
movies,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
was like, oh, that's nice. Clint Eastwood's son is like trying to be an actor too.
yeah.
So like he didn't. I couldn't tell
Hey,
you if he did poorly or if he just was there. But
hey, and Clint Eastwood is not shy about saying, "Hey, I put my son in this movie. I made sure he got this role." He's not shy about that.
yeah,
So,
no, it's true. But I think with this, I think definitely with this movie, Scott can say that he cut a hole out for himself, and it's one of
yeah,
those
for
things
sure.
that a lot of actors, especially these young actors, or just in general actors who had family in Hollywood. It's one of those
Hmm.
hard things you got to do to try and cut your way into the film of the, I mean, sorry, not film, for lack of a better word, into the seams of the industry, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
in order to establish yourself and try to get away from your parents' shadow.
That comparison, right? You don't
You
want to be
gotta,
compared. Yeah.
yeah. There's plenty of people who got to deal
Mhm.
with that. I mean, we got John David Washington who's trying to cut
Yeah.
his own niche for himself.
Hmm.
Scott Kahn had to do the same thing as well.
Yep. Yep.
And so you see it all the time through. And so I'm hoping that with this role, Scott can take that step, and start to make his own, pave his own path. I think
For
that'd be
sure.
really
For
good.
sure. For sure. I
Um,
want to say something about this film as well, man.
yeah,
So this was a very different film for Guy Ritchie. I feel like it was very serious. It was gritty. And usually like when you watch his movies like Snatch or even the first one that he did and a couple of others, it's always got some comic relief, a little bit of comedy, but it really didn't
yeah,
have that much of that in there. And the only character in the movie to really try to bring that into this movie was Bullet.
yeah, a
He,
little
he
bit.
tried to crack a few little jokes here and there, but it didn't seem to really fit. But yeah, man, there's no one-liners, there's no talking to the screen. There's really no comic relief in this movie, man, to be honest with you. Did you kind of feel that way? Because that's how I felt.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot going toward. Um, well, I'm gonna use it as a diving point. Let's to get into our positives because you kind of tapped on where my positives were sitting, and I
Yeah.
was gonna say that like their good use of storytelling is how that film is. It's a positive use,
Hmm.
and I think
Hmm.
that plays into it. They are very, very careful to. This movie is got one point to it, and Guy Ritchie made sure to keep it focused around that one point.
Yeah.
It was meant to be a revenge film, and he aims it at just being that, and he makes sure
Yes.
that you stay on that point the same way our main character H has to stay on that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he does that by the little things of not having, any not really heavy comedic stuff. There are things that happen that are, you could tell that it's supposed to be like jokes passed between them, small jokes between characters, so to speak.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
nothing that's supposed to make you as an audience member, to ease that tension.
Right.
It's
Right.
not
Right.
there. And not to mention, part of that storytelling also has to do with the way that they, sequence the film.
Oh,
That
yes, sir. I wanted to talk about that. Yes, sir. I'm glad you
makes it
mentioned that.
real great. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
Like the
Didn't it
sequence.
remind you of Tarantino's style away? The way they
Yeah.
did it? It was like from one story and to another time period, to another time period, to another time period. And it
Yeah.
ends up like just coming together. And it kind of makes more sense. It shows you different perspectives, right? And
Well,
then oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
oh no. Well, I was just saying that, like, I mean, with the disjunct
Mhm.
storytelling, you
Yeah.
also make sure that you capture the audience within the beginning, because you
Hmm.
start with the meat and vegetables of it.
Hmm.
Then we can
Hmm.
give you, we can move some things around
Yeah.
to where it paces a little better. And so this movie does a good job of that. That's what I was just saying along
Yeah.
the
And I
way.
like the chapter formats too. The chapters.
The chapter
Thought that was good.
titles,
Chapter titles. Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liver, lungs, spleen, and heart.
Woo. Woo
That's
wee.
all I'm gonna leave y'all with that. If you ain't seen the movie yet, go on there and check it. We trying our best. We're gonna try not to spoil nothing for you.
We try not to spoil it, man, because this is the first movie where you are forced to go to the movie theaters. And I know a lot of people want to be lazy. You them got used to sitting at your TV and not having to go to the movie theater. So, we'll give you some time. We'll give you some time.
Nope. I'm telling you right now, get up, go to your movie theaters.
Yeah,
We
you
want
got
to
to go
make sure
see
that we're
this.
gonna make sure that we need to make sure that the movie theaters, my little shameless plug, but movie theaters need to be open for years and years to come. That's the way we're supposed to watch film.
That's how it's supposed to be.
That's
Yeah,
the way it's
yeah,
supposed to be watched. So get
for
up, go
sure.
see this one, or
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon get out there and start getting back into your theaters. If it ain't for this movie,
Mm-hmm.
go to one soon. All right. I'm
Yes,
gonna hop off
sir.
my
Yes, sir.
soapbox. My bad. You got some stuff.
Let them know, man.
I'm
Let them
down.
know.
I'm down. I'm a calm.
No, let them know, bro.
Hey, what other positives you got on it though?
Oh man, and there's really there's a lot I like about this movie, man. What about the score? I thought the score was good too.
Man,
So I
what?
can't what is his name? Can't think of his name at the moment, but the guy who did the score for this movie, he's the same one who did the score for his previous movie, The Gentleman, and that has a good score as well. So
Yeah.
shout out to, what is my guy's name? Do you
Christopher
have it?
Benstead.
Okay,
Christopher
Christopher
Benstead
Benstead. He
or
did a good
Ben
job.
Steed, if I said it
Yes,
incorrectly,
yes, Benstead.
forgive me.
Yes, yes, he did a really good job. So I like the score for this movie. That was really good.
No, man.
Cinematography looks great as well.
I agree.
I thought it was well paced, man. I just think it's a really well paced movie.
I
Like I
agree.
said, it's just for Jason Statham. I think this is one of the movies that's going to age well for him, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Transporter 1 through 3. I don't want anybody coming for me, but like, I feel like this is one that just is going to, like, 10 to 15 years from now is going to still feel just as good to me.
Yeah.
Because of the different elements to this movie, the way it was done. Yeah, it's a heist film, but at the same time, it's a revenge film, like you were talking about. And then you got the backdrop of this being a crime drama as well.
Yeah.
So, no, this is just really good, man. There's a lot I like about this.
Yeah, no. I think there's a lot to really unpack with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
The movie, like I said, it's to the point, but it's not necessarily like a bad thing that
for
it
sure,
doesn't
for sure.
deviate from its point. I think it's definitely got some great cinematography. I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially those action sequences or like the suspense sequences. The the entire last climax of the film to me is a high point. The way things unfolds there and the way he shot that scene is all really, really good, really interesting.
Yeah.
And
it also gets to a point where you question. Okay, so you question, is H a good guy or a bad guy, right? And so you're trying to figure this out for a little bit. It's like, I'm not sure, like, where he really stands. Is he good? Is he bad? But there's one thing that you do know: he has a moral code at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
You know that he has a moral code, but he's not. He doesn't really show emotion in this movie. It's like,
oh man, hold on.
You think he does?
No. I was gonna say, you just like, can we go there? Can we hit some of the negatives? I mean, and I'm not gonna lie. This is a plus, a thumbs up for me. But I gotta say there were a little bit of negatives there, like so that just kind of dug into my negative.
Oh, so that's your negative. Okay, go ahead.
No, we there. If that's where we at, like,
I mean, I really don't have too many negatives, to be honest with you. But
I don't have a lot, like, but it just happened to be like what you hit at when you said,
okay.
It just took me there because I was like, it's so to the point that there's some little details that just we don't get that need to be there. Like you said, he should have some other emotions. Like,
yeah,
You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
those little details can be there. We understand that he's an angry person. We understand that the movie is called Wrath of Man, but
Yeah.
man, can we
Can
get
we get
something
some
else?
emotion from you though? Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's
You know, we got to see him as a person.
yeah,
But other
yeah,
little
yeah.
details with that, like Andy Garcia is in the movie, plays a an agent,
Mm-hmm.
but like the details between the relationship between Andy and and Statham's characters
Yeah.
doesn't it's a little detail, so it's not a big flaw,
It,
but I
it's
would
little,
like to
yeah.
know who's who's got the upper hand in this relationship. That's not
Right,
clear,
right. I
or
don't think it was clear. I don't
yeah,
think it was clear. But let's just hit on that negative then that as you're saying. I guess lack of character development, I guess. Yeah, I don't think that there's that much between the characters as far as developing them. Uh, some of them, I mean, some of them are is thinly written. Maybe there should have been some backstories, maybe to
yeah.
kind of give you a little bit more information on them.
I mean, I could
I
definitely
don't
agree
know.
with that, especially about H. Because when we
Yeah.
talk about H, and I get he's supposed to be technically it feels to me that his occupation and the things that he does for a living are
Hmm.
second hand. We don't need that, but
Yeah.
at the
Right.
same
Right. Right.
time, we know that he's a boss of some sort in some scenario, as a boss of some sort. So, so it seems I'm
Hmm.
left questioning. Well, what were you doing to put yourself in the situation that you were in the first place? Your
Mm.
son would be around if you hadn't been in this situation. So,
Hmm.
how did you get to this point? We
Right.
see how our antagonists get to where they got there. We
Hmm.
understand them. We need that little bit to connect that dot. But what
Yeah.
about
Right.
what about H? We need H's story too. We need just a little bit more. And so I think
I like the crime boss story. I did like that. Him being a crime boss, but we needed more. It should have been a little bit more meat on the bones with
yeah, I
that.
mean,
There should have been more. I
he a
think
crime
so.
boss. Okay, I get that, but
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
kind of crime is he in?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Yeah.
plenty of crime bosses. He could be a drug dealer. What's that got to do with him being out there?
Right.
Be a
Yeah.
bank robber.
Yeah.
He could
Yeah.
be, somebody. He can be a pimp, probably. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that. But
They could have gotten a little bit more in that
and
for
so I'm saying,
sure.
like,
I think so.
there's and you know what I'm saying, like, and
Mhm.
we're trying to avoid spoilers, so I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you, like, I'm not gonna
We're
spoil it.
trying our best, everybody. We're
Yeah,
trying our
this is the first
best.
time we're gonna try and
Yeah.
do that. Maybe the last time, but
Yeah.
like, those little dots are necessary.
Hmm.
They're not. I understand that they were trying to trim fat, and they did a great job of it. But I think you
Hmm.
could have spared us another 30 seconds here or there to a
Hmm.
minute on some things that could have given us a little more dialogue.
You know what's interesting about the movie, and I'm not going to count it as a negative or anything, but you're not really cheering for anybody in this movie. Even and you could say you're cheering for H, but are you really? And the reason why I'm saying that is because at the end of the day, everybody's a criminal, right? And
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah,
going to reap what they sow. Okay.
yeah.
And so at the end of the day, you're like, are you really? I don't know if anybody, there's really no good guy at the end of the day. Like nobody's good, really. Even when if you like Bullet
Yeah,
as a character, he ends up doing other things. Like I said, we're not spoiling whatever, but
yeah. Everything is changing.
people end up becoming different things that you think they're good, then they're not good. And like I said, Jason Statham, you can't tell if H is good or not, but he's really not because he's a criminal. So
Yeah,
and then you lose your kid, but do you feel sorry for him? Do you want to cheer for him coming to kill everybody? It's
right. Like,
it's
and that's what I say. I guess those little things just kind of lack a little bit. Like,
yeah.
you're
But I don't know if it's a negative though. That's what I'm like,
no, 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 no. Like I said, the movie still works.
right. It works for what it is.
It
Yeah.
works
Yeah.
as it is. It's just little things like that
Hmm.
matter in a sense. Like the fact that he loses his kid, we get only a scene, I think, of them two bonding for me to believe that, like, oh, okay, so they tight. So
Yeah.
I'm supposed to feel some way when his boy dies,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm like,
But did you? Did you?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I can. I mean, I do in the sense of just like, yeah, that's his family member. Maybe,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I'm like, I can't guarantee you that because I don't know enough about your life, who says that this wasn't retribution for something else you did?
And what about his wife? I feel like that relationship is still like, I don't know, that wasn't developed enough.
I don't think there was nothing to say about it. I think to quote him at one point, he says, "Divorced." That's it. Like that.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
just all
it.
he needed. He just
Yeah,
left it at that, and it was done.
yeah,
And that's kind of
yeah,
the way it worked. I will
yeah.
say, my biggest negative, Post Malone.
They just wanted to put him in the movie, man. You know, they had to
get,
put him in there.
I get it, Hollywood. Post Malone got a lot of tats. He looked like he could be a good villain.
You didn't think he was good for one scene?
And Post Malone, like, hey, I mess with your music hard. I can listen to it. That stuff jams for me. You know, it gets me through
Oh
sometimes.
man, you gonna give him a hard time, man?
But
Oh man,
yeah,
one scene. It was one scene.
This is well, he keep only getting one scene. And
There's a reason for it.
I'm just saying, you played sports back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
If they consistently only giving you 2 minutes in the game, that mean what?
You ain't got it, man. You ain't got it. You ain't got it,
if
man.
You only coming in at the end
You ain't
of
got
the
it.
fourth quarter for the last 2 minutes, and y'all got to be up to play.
Yeah. Nah, you ain't got it.
I'm just saying, don't be doing him like that. Like,
yeah,
he's not.
I thought he was okay just for the scene, man. Just for just for what it was. It was quick. It was quick.
It's like the second or third movie I done seen him get in just to get dropped like that. I'm like, we don't need to have a cameo of people just getting dropped.
Oh man, that's funny, man. Oh man,
what's
overall though,
what's some of your favorites?
Man, my favorite scene in the movie, I think, is I think when they decide to rob the depot, I think that's towards the end in the last act. I think that's where things really, really, really pick up. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah. So some people, I talked to you and one other person about the movie, and this other person was saying that he thinks that there's times where the movie is slow. I didn't really feel that though. I didn't really. I mean, I felt like it was pretty tightly paced for the most part. But at the end of the day, I like heist movies though, right? So
yeah, no, that's fair. So you
I like The Town. I like Heat. Like Den of Thieves, I didn't have a problem with. It's not a great movie, but it was entertaining to me. This was I don't know. Like this was cool. Like I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't think it was boring. I didn't think there were any boring parts.
See, so
it was cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't. So since you brought up like Den of Thieves in comparison, yeah, that one's got a lot more. Like I think that one was slower than this was.
That's what I'm thinking.
This one balances pretty well. There is, I can understand what your homie might be talking about because there's a little zone in there where it kind of it stretches a little bit. It feels like it relaxes and stretches.
Maybe kind of like in the middle of the movie a little bit.
After the first incident in the film, things it's a little bit of a game of putting pieces together. So, and because of the disjunct storytelling, it does kind of go backwards for a minute. But I think that there's enough going on that it's cool, that it works out. I'd have to say the interrogation scene is probably one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah.
That interrogation was pretty legit.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. Brutal. Ladies and gentlemen, this movie is violent. This is a violent movie. Just letting you know now. It's violent. It gets there.
So the at-home interrogation was dope, and of course, with you, the climax, and the little bits of foreshadowing that they threw in there. The movie is not necessarily too hard to pick up. I think there's a lot of things that clearly become obvious, but the small foreshadowing piece that pays off in the climax is really legit. It's really legit.
For sure. Man, I'm telling you, look, Guy Ritchie got a Tarantino style movie here, man. Like, I like the way he did it. Honestly, like this is dope. Like this is very different for him. Very different for Jason Statham as well. I know I keep saying that, but it's just like, man, I'm telling you, this is legit. Like I like this a lot.
No, I'm with you.
So if I had to go ahead and rate this movie, man, I'm going to give it a A-. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, bro. Like that's how I feel about this.
Yeah, good. I was about to take us into the the real recap. So I'm glad you took it there. I would say, this is a solid 8 for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll give it a full A, just because, like I said, like, nah, I'd say, yeah, 89, to 90. It's those little details matter. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they do matter more than I thought they would, but it's not enough to ding it, whole letter grade. This
Yeah.
one could sit on the fence, and if I decide to round up today, you get your A. Tomorrow I
Yeah.
might not be so lenient, I'll keep it at an 89, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
Yeah.
still it's a really strong movie to me. 8 out of
Yeah.
10 for
Strong.
me, for sure.
8 out of 10. That's a good score, man. There you go.
Hey,
Because I know you tougher than me on some of these movies, man. I'm like, goodness.
I mean, yeah, because I know me. Usually, if I like it, it's still sitting at 8 to 9. I
Yeah.
can't give it
Yeah.
no 10. Like, there's very rare movies that I might give a 10.
Oh no, you got to be a Pulp Fiction for me to do 10 now. Nah, you got to be on that level.
You got to shake me. Like, when I walk out of there, I got to be like,
yeah,
what just happened? I got to be hollering when I left the theater. I wasn't
yeah.
hollering for this, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it at an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But
well, it felt good to sit in the movie theater again, man. So
that's what I was just about to say. I was like, it was good
I
to go
felt
see
good.
theater.
And my 9 might be a little high because I just recently just saw this just a day or two ago, and so
that's like, hey, no, you can stand by your 9. Like
yeah, I'm standing on it. I'm like, hey, this was cool. Like, it felt good to sit down and be in a theater. Like, it was dope. So it was good and a really good story. So, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend you go see this. And yes, this is my first time going to a movie theater since the pandemic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Bet.
I did not go see Tenet in theaters. I did not. Yeah. Yeah, I messed up. But I got it on 4K though, so can't say nothing about that.
All right. Yeah. The 4K straight. Now I'm with you though. Like, I'm with that. Yeah, that's your first time in. I ain't gonna lie. I've been going for a minute. I saw Tenet. I did go by myself though. You know what I'm saying? It was late night. Only like 2 people in the theater. So I was sitting 4-5 rows from.
Bro, I had the whole room to myself. I was like, yes, sir. Kick back. Like,
I do miss that energy though. I miss the energy that used to when you go in a full theater and it's all fans.
Oh man.
Can't beat that.
Dude, it's funny. I walked in because I went in there. It's a weekday. I'm like, hey, what's up? How's it been on the weekends? Oh yeah, we usually get people on the weekends. Weekday, no, we don't have anybody. I was like, okay, so you just collecting that check right now? That's real, okay.
Hey, chill. Back in the day when I was in high school, I used to try to go to the movies right after school, and that's exactly what you get. Nobody in there.
Man, that's how it is, man.
I'll definitely tell you. I hope that we can get in there to see some other ones this, later on in the year and over the summer.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, put it in the comments. Tell us what you think about the movie. Tell us what you would rate it. Tell us what you think about, the action, the performance. We want to hear from you guys. Tell us how we doing. Give us some feedback. We love to hear from you. But signing off for now is Kevin and Isaiah with the Real for Real podcast. Thanks for watching.